For 65 years, the story of who would come to be known as America's unknown child has haunted this community.
The story of the boy in the box begins on a cold February day in 1957 in the quiet, wooded outskirts of Philadelphia's Fox Chase neighborhood. This area, characterized by its mix of residential homes, farmlands, and dense thickets, was far from the bustling urban core of the city. It was a place where locals set muskrat traps or sought solitude, but on the 25th of February, it became the site of a harrowing find. A young man, initially reported in some accounts as Frederick Bononis, but later clarified as John Powroznik, was traversing the underbrush off Susquehanna Road. He was there to check his traps, a common pastime in the semi-rural enclave. What he encountered was no animal snare but a large cardboard box, partially concealed by vegetation and debris. At first glance, Powroznik thought the contents might be a discarded doll or perhaps the remains of a small animal. The box, weathered and stained, measured approximately 15 by 19 by 35 inches. It bore labels indicating it had once contained a baby's bassinet cradle, sold by J.C. Penney for $7.95. The markings read, "Furniture, fragile, do not open with knife," a detail that would later become central to the investigation. Peering inside, he saw the naked body of a young boy, curled tightly in a fetal position, his thin arms crossed over his chest as if in a final act of self-protection. The child was wrapped in a faded plaid cotton blanket with a Native American motif, torn in half and showing signs of recent mending and washing. Shocked by the sight, Powroznik did not immediately report it. He returned home, unsettled, and only the next day, the 26th of February, after hearing radio reports about a missing girl from nearby New Jersey, did he connect the dots and alert authorities. His delay, born of initial disbelief and fear, would be one of many quirks in a case riddled with missed opportunities and lingering questions. Philadelphia police responded swiftly, arriving at the scene to confirm the grim reality. This was no doll, but the body of a child who had suffered immensely before death. The discovery site was an unofficial dumping ground, littered with household refuse, suggesting the perpetrator chose it for its remoteness, yet accessibility from nearby roads. The boy's appearance was heartbreaking. Estimated to be between 3 and 7 years old, he weighed a mere 30 pounds, severely underweight for his 40.5-inch height. His skin, fair and dotted with bruises, showed signs of both fresh and healed injuries. Blue eyes remained open in death, and his blonde hair had been crudely hacked short, with clippings still adhering to his shoulders, neck, and back, hinting at a rushed attempt to alter his appearance posthumously. No clothing adorned the body, but the blanket provided a thin veil of modesty. Nearby investigators found scattered items: a man's blue corduroy cap, size 7, 1x8, a child's white scarf, and a white handkerchief embroidered with the letter G. These artifacts, while intriguing, would prove frustratingly elusive in yielding suspects. News of the discovery spread rapidly through Philadelphia, a city already grappling with post-war social changes and rising crime rates. The media dubbed him the Boy in the Box, a moniker that captured the public's imagination and horror. This case would not only challenge law enforcement but also expose the vulnerabilities of child protection in mid-20th century America, where abuse often went unreported and unidentified remains were all too common. The Philadelphia Police Department, under the direction of Captain David Roberts, launched what would become one of the most exhaustive investigations in the city's history. Detective Sergeant Elmer Palmer, the first officer on the scene, later recounted in interviews that he believed the case would resolve quickly. Most child homicides involved family members or close acquaintances. Yet, as officers secured the area, it became clear this was no ordinary crime. The boy's fingerprints and footprints were meticulously taken and cross-referenced with missing persons reports across the state and nation, but no matches emerged. Dental impressions were made, hoping to link him to medical records, but again, silence. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Joseph Spellman performed the autopsy on the 26th of February, revealing a tale of prolonged torment. The official cause of death was homicide by blunt force trauma, with multiple contusions to the head and body suggesting repeated blows from fists, feet, or an object. There were no skull fractures, but internal hemorrhaging indicated the fatal nature of the injuries. The child had endured severe malnutrition and starvation, his stomach containing only traces of baked beans, possibly his final meal. Esophageal hemorrhages pointed to vomiting shortly before death, and X-rays confirmed no recent bone breaks but highlighted surgical scars, an L-shaped mark under the chin, incisions in the groin likely from hernia repair, and cut-down scars on the ankles from intravenous procedures. Additional details deepened the mystery. The boy's palms and soles were wrinkled, as if he had been submerged in water recently, perhaps bathed to erase evidence. His fingernails were long but clean, contrasting with his overall neglected state. Toxicology screens detected no poisons or drugs, ruling out accidental causes. Due to the frigid February weather, the time of death was estimated between 2 days and a week prior, with the cold preserving the body. These findings painted a portrait of a child who had suffered chronic abuse, culminating in a violent end, then meticulously prepared for disposal. Forensic efforts extended beyond the autopsy. Hair samples were analyzed for clues about his diet and environment, but 1950s technology limited insights. The blanket was traced to manufacturing mills in Swannanoa, North Carolina, and Granby, Quebec, but its widespread availability, millions produced, offered no unique trail. The bassinet box led to the Upper Darby JCPenney store, where 12 identical units had been sold cash only. Investigators interviewed 8 buyers. One had discarded her box near the site, but she had no connection to a child matching the description. The cap traced to Hannah Robbins' hat shop on South Street, where the owner recalled selling it to a reclusive blonde man in his late 22nd with an Eastern European accent. Despite sketches and appeals, he was never located. To galvanize public help, police orchestrated a massive publicity campaign. They dressed the boy's body in children's clothing, posed it upright in a chair to simulate life, and photographed it for 400,000 flyers. These were distributed nationwide, included in Philadelphia gas bills, posted in stores, and even published in medical journals to probe the surgical scars. A $1,000 reward was offered, equivalent to about $10,000 today. 270 police recruits combed the woods, uncovering dog hairs on the blanket and tire impressions that matched no vehicles. Orphanages, foster homes, hospitals, and schools were canvassed, but the boy seemed a ghost, no records, no sightings. As weeks turned to months, leads poured in but fizzled out. In 1960, a carnival worker from New Jersey claimed the boy had been purchased from impoverished parents and abused by itinerant workers, but alibis and lack of evidence dismissed it. Another tip linked him to Hungarian refugees fleeing the 1956 uprising, suggesting he was smuggled in and killed to silence him, but immigration records contradicted this. Remington Bristow, an employee in the medical examiner's office, emerged as the case's most dedicated amateur investigator. From 1960 until his death in 1993, Bristow devoted 36 years and thousands of personal dollars to the pursuit. He consulted psychics, one of whom directed him to a foster home 1.5 miles from the Discovery site, operated by Arthur and Catherine Nicoletti. Inside, Bristow found plaid blankets eerily similar to the one wrapping the boy and a bassinet matching the JCPenney box. He hypothesized the child was the illegitimate son of Catherine's stepdaughter, Anna Marie Nagel, from a previous marriage, murdered to conceal the out-of-wedlock birth. Family photos showed physical resemblances, fueling his conviction. Police interviewed the Nicolettis in 1990-61, finding all foster children accounted for and no evidence of foul play. A 1998 DNA test definitively cleared them, but Bristow's theory persisted in public lore, highlighting how desperation breeds speculation. Bristow's efforts weren't in vain. He kept the case alive, even requesting his ashes be buried near the boy's grave in Potter's Field, where the child was interred on the 24th of July, 1957, with a simple headstone, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." In 2002, a more compelling lead surfaced from an Ohio psychiatrist. Her patient, known as Martha or M, claimed her abusive mother had purchased a boy named Jonathan in 1954 for $30 from his birth parents. M described a household of horror. The boy endured sexual and physical abuse, malnourishment, and beatings. His death allegedly occurred during a bath when he vomited baked beans, enraging the mother who slammed his head against the tub. Post-mortem, she cut his hair to disguise him as a girl, wrapped him in an old blanket, and dumped him in Fox Chase. Details aligned uncannily with the autopsy, scars, diet, water immersion, even the beans. Investigators visited M's childhood home in Lower Merion, discovering a bassinet in the basement. However, neighbors recalled no boy living there, and M's history of mental illness, including multiple hospitalizations, undermined her credibility. Police deemed the story plausible but unreliable, though it remains one of the strongest theories, revisited in documentaries and books. By the 1980s and 1990s, the case had gone cold, but advancements in forensics offered hope. In 2008, renowned forensic artist Frank Bender proposed a novel angle. Based on the boy's uneven haircut and arched eyebrows, he might have been raised as a girl to conceal his identity, perhaps in a dysfunctional family avoiding scrutiny. Bender released sketches depicting the child with long hair and feminine attire, sparking renewed media coverage but no identifications. In 2016, authors Jim Hoffman and Louis Romano published The Boy in the Box, America's Unknown Child, linking the victim to a Memphis, Tennessee family through circumstantial evidence like blanket patterns and family photos. A DNA sample from a potential relative was tested in 2017, but results were negative. Other theories abounded. Some suggested medical experimentation due to the scars. Others posited involvement in a black market adoption ring. Online forums like Web Sleuths dissected every detail, from the handkerchief's G to the cap's origins. The Vidocq Society, a Philadelphia-based group of retired detectives and forensics experts founded in 1990, adopted the case in the 1990s. They funded the 1998 exhumation for mitochondrial DNA extraction from a tooth, entering it into national databases. Though matches required nuclear DNA, this step preserved hope. The society also organized the boy's reburial at Ivy Hill Cemetery, with a new headstone reading America's Unknown Child and a ceremony attended by over 150 people, symbolizing communal resolve.
The unveiling of two headstones with the name Joseph Augustus Zarelli closes one chapter of arguably Philadelphia's most notorious cold case.
We've grown up knowing about the boy.
Patty Braxton and Kimberly Augustine's father was a detective with the Philadelphia Police Department. Bill Fleischer of the Vidocq Society made a point to speak directly to surviving family members of Joseph Zarelli.
I want to thank the families, the surviving siblings and relatives of Joseph, who may not have known anything about this, who care and keep him in his prayers.
Some members of Joseph's family attended the service and spoke at length with reporters off camera, telling us they mourned for Joseph, but say they never knew anything about the investigation or even the case before last month's news conference. They told me they'll be persistent in keeping in contact with police so that perhaps they can someday have closure and know what happened.
The 21st century brought genetic genealogy, a game changer for cold cases. In 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released colorized facial reconstructions, incorporating phenotypic predictions of blue eyes, fair skin, and possible freckles. Age-progressed images circulated, but breakthroughs came with exhumation. In April 2019, a court order permitted the second exhumation from Ivy Hill. Bone samples yielded nuclear DNA after advanced extraction techniques overcame degradation. Colleen Fitzpatrick and Misty Gillis of Identifinders International uploaded the profile to GED Match and Family Tree DNA. By cross-referencing public ancestry trees, they identified distant cousins. A pivotal match in October 2021 led to Joseph's birth certificate.
Now to an update today. Decades in the making, the boy in the box, an unidentified boy found in Philadelphia in 1957, now has a name. Police have identified that boy, who was found battered and stuffed inside a cardboard box, as Joseph Zarelli. 4-year-old Zarelli went unidentified for 66 years and was the city's oldest unsolved homicide. Police say that the detective work and DNA analysis helped them learn his name. Both of the boy's parents are dead, but he still has living siblings in West Philadelphia. Now to an update today. Decades in the making, the boy in the box, an unidentified boy found in Philadelphia in 1957, now has a name. Police have identified that boy, who was found battered and stuffed inside a car.
Born the 13th of January, 1953, at Pennsylvania Hospital to Augustus Gus Zarelli, an Italian-American construction worker who died in 2014, and Mary Elizabeth Betsy Plunkett, from an Irish-American family, deceased in 1991. Joseph lived in West Philadelphia near 61st and Market Streets, one of several siblings. No social security number, school records, or missing persons report existed for him, suggesting isolation or deliberate concealment. DNA from living half-siblings confirmed the identification, announced privately on the 30th of November, 2022, and publicly on the 8th of December by Commissioner Danielle Outlaw and Captain Jason Smith.
Joseph Augustus Zarelli will no longer be that boy in the box and will no longer be unknown.
The process involved painstaking verification, including court-ordered vital records and interviews with relatives, amid pressure from online speculation and media leaks. The revelation of Joseph's name brought relief but ignited controversy. Online sleuths and true crime enthusiasts speculated wildly about his parents and siblings, leading to harassment and doxing. Reddit threads detailed the frenzy, with some accusing families without evidence. Police withheld parental names initially for privacy, but media outlets like the Philadelphia Inquirer identified them in January 2023 as Gus Zarelli and Betsy Abel. This sparked debates on ethics in true crime reporting. Investigators faced immense pressure during the 14-month verification period post-DNA breakthrough. Decoy stories were planted to deflect leaks, and the team endured abuse from impatient publics. The DNA lab that extracted usable samples from degraded bone remained anonymous, treating it as a research miracle. Despite the identification, the homicide probe stalled. Suspects are suspected within the family circle, but with key figures deceased, proof is elusive. As of now, the case remains unsolved, with no arrests. A $20,000 reward persists for information leading to conviction. Captain Smith, in 2024 statements, expressed hope for tips from elders recalling the Zarelli family. Annual memorials continue. On the 13th of January 2023, a new headstone was unveiled at Ivy Hill reading Joseph Augustus Zarelli, America's unknown child no longer. His 71st birthday in 2024 drew gatherings, underscoring enduring public empathy. Police applied genetic tools to other cold cases, like 1984's Baby Mary. Joseph's siblings, some unaware of his existence, seek privacy amid grief. Joseph's story has permeated American culture, inspiring books like David Stout's 2008 account, podcasts such as Murder, True Crime Stories, and documentaries. It highlights 1950s child welfare failures, no mandatory abuse reporting, and the power of DNA, solving over 100 cases since 2018, including the Golden State Killer. The case critiques true crime fandom's excesses. Speculation harmed innocence, prompting calls for ethical boundaries. Yet, it fosters advocacy. The Vidocq Society and NCMEC continue work on unidentified victims. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, once unknown, now symbolizes resilience. As Outlaw noted, he has a name, but not yet justice. In Philadelphia, his memory urges pursuit of truth, ensuring no child remains forgotten. If you enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and share with friends. I'll see you in the next video.